sometimes. I'm new to going live, so I just cut myself off. I don't know why, but let's make sure that I'm doing it right. At least 1 minute of content is needed to create a short. All right. I think we had 4 people on. That's exciting. And I saw Steve Hansen was on earlier and left me a nice comment. I want to make sure that I am able to see what you guys are saying. So definitely comment so that I know you're on the stream with me. Uh-oh, green screen. Well, that's interesting. Let's see what else we can do with this. I don't know. Reminds me of the old days. Okay. Let's see who's on. Hey there. If you were on before, hi Dave. I meant to send you a message. I really appreciate your nice comments. Dave is a friend from back in Gatlinburg, and he is a whittler and a very talented one. I want to show you. Hang on there. I'm not going very far. Stay on, Dave. Hang on, hang on. I want to show you these. Dave made these for me. This one's very special. It's called the Flaming Heart. Isn't that beautiful? You should go and check out Dave's profile and start talking with him. You also made me a peach pit monkey, and I loved it, but I loved it so much that I wanted to pass it on to somebody who was not feeling well at the time, and I just thought she might very much enjoy it. So I no longer have it, but I loved the peach pit monkey. Thank you, Dave. My mom and I are doing great. And we are in my studio right now. I hope some more people jump on, by the way, and leave some comments so that we can keep the live stream rolling. Hello there, and make sure you put your name if you're somebody that I would probably know, so that I can make sure that I address you. But oh, you're making them again? Where do you sell? Where do you sell, Dave? Make sure you leave me that link. I just want to make sure that everybody gets to see Dave's woodwork. We met in Gatlinburg, and he would be whittling on the street, and I would be singing right next to him. It was always very fun. Hi, I am actually from Nashville. I was born in, we got 23 people on, wow, very cool. Make sure you're subscribed. I was born in Atlanta and raised in a suburb of Nashville, just about 7 miles from downtown. And I can tell you, in those days, it was a much quieter place. Hello. I don't know why somebody's being rude, but you can definitely get off. Anyway, so my parents brought me there when I was 18 months old, and I was raised in Donaldson. We had a school 3 houses down from where I lived on Donna Hill Drive, which was really just right across the interstate from the Grand Ole Opry. Hello. Is your name Muna? From Bangladesh. Wow. Thanks for jumping on. You are coming from a long way away. Amazing. I watched the concert for Bangladesh a long, long time ago with George Harrison and Bob Dylan and Ravi Shankar. I have that DVD. It's quite good. All right. Welcome aboard, everybody who's jumping on right now. I'm Nina Ricci. I am a folk singer and songwriter, and right now I'm living in the hills of Tennessee. I live in Chattanooga. I'm seeing a few people on here. Dave, are you still with us? Okay, very cool. For a minute there, we had 20-something people on this live stream. And I will be showing you what this room looks like as well. Hey, yeah, Mom is doing very well. We live here in a little apartment. It's actually a pretty big apartment. We were surprised. I guess these were made for the UTC students here in Chattanooga. And hey, Dennis. And so they're very big, and they're kind of like compartmentalized in a way where students could be in several places. They're big rooms, and when we moved here, I needed a place to kind of do videos and record, and I was planning to do a whole lot of live streams. Maybe I will now. Thank you for subscribing, Muna. I appreciate that. And I just needed a place to start to kind of work through my art. We had been on the road for 4 years, and we lived full-time on the road. It was very exciting, and it was very tiring. So when we got off, I had my own room and had so much space. But it was kind of reflective in this room, and when I try to record, it was just way too much sound bouncing off the walls. And so I started to kind of think, how can I buffer this space so that I can do videos and maybe a little bit of recording? And I never planned to really be my own engineer, but here we are today. So I'll start to show you the studio just a little bit. Mom had the idea that we would put some of these sound dampening blankets on the walls, and it has worked very well. We have construction on our not construction exactly, but we've got a lot of road traffic outside, and so I have to be cognizant of when I bring people into the studio to record, and just to make sure that we're not having that road noise. But this, the sound dampening blankets have helped so much. And if you haven't seen it yet, I have a new video up on YouTube. It's called The Game of Cards. I'm a folk singer as well as a songwriter, so I like to do traditional music as well. Hello, I am not. Who is Lloyd Christmas? I don't know. Very interesting. But I just posted that video, so if you want to check that out, you'll be able to hear me sing. Some of you are coming here for the first time, so you might be interested in, why I'm on here jabbering like I am. I'm typically an introvert, so I keep my words to myself a lot of the times, unless I'm scribbling them on I usually songwrite like this. I am not much of a pencil and paper person, because I just don't like the feeling of a pencil in my hand, really. I'm always like clenching it. So it's not a whole lot of fun to do that, but sure, here we go. Yeah, I got eyebrows, thanks. Yes, I love hats. Thank you very much. I do. I have a collection of hats, and I'm always looking for them. I'm quite the thrift store aficionado, always looking for hats. So thanks for joining us. We are 8 minutes in. Wow. We've had a couple of people that I know. If Dennis is still on here, I'd like to say hello to Dennis. Dennis, are you here? Thank you, Muna. I really appreciate that. I kind of wonder what it's like when somebody from another country hears me for the first time. Is it like, can you tell it's American music? And is the language barrier something that, changes the experience? And I sometimes do foreign language songs. I've done Spanish and Yiddish and Italian. And yeah, so I enjoy those. Hebrew. I like different languages. They are very colorful. You do? You love Hollywood movies. Do you like the old films? Hi, I am right now living in Chattanooga, but I am from Nashville, Tennessee. You can call me Nina from Nashville. Other people do. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm from the South, if you can't tell. I am from Nashville, Tennessee, country music USA. But I live 100 miles south now in Chattanooga. Thanks for asking. Yes, I do shop at the thrift stores. I very much enjoy them. Whenever I need a time out of the house, that's pretty much where I like to go. I like nature too, but Newcastle, no, nope, Chattanooga. I live near Red Bank. I enjoy it very much. We live in the mountains, so very pretty. I spent enough time in Gatlinburg to really appreciate being in the mountains, and I just couldn't tear away quite yet. So since I've been here, you know, those mountain allergies or something you have to deal with, so I started going, maybe I'd like to live in the valley. And then a flood came along, and we were living up on the mountain a little bit, and I was like, you know what? It's nice living on a mountain because you don't typically see the flood waters. Thank you. English is really the only language that I speak, so I hope I speak it well. Thanks, Muna. What language do you speak? You're from Bangladesh, and I know that there are a lot of languages there. Language does interest me a whole lot. Keep responding and let me keep answering your questions. It is the afternoon here, and I'd show you the outdoors, but I can't do it. Oh, wow, Indian Bengali, yes. Wow. Back a few years ago, there were a lot of Nepali people coming to this country, and I met some who had lived in Bangladesh as well. That may not be true. Hang on just a second, I'm trying to think. It was one of the metropolitan areas, and I was just learning how many languages y'all are able to pick up. It's amazing. I don't answer age questions. Thanks for asking, though. Ageless, timeless. Thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you. I've been enjoying it so much, and I will. I'll pan about the room and let you see what it looks like. I'll go this direction first. I've got a lot of light in here, but it is usually kind of moody. This is where I like to do some filming of my videos. Definitely check those out if you haven't seen them. I just recorded one against this wall called The Game of Cards. I like to do videos outside as well, but here it is. We got the dual monitors. That makes things much easier. I wonder if I can change the brightness. I don't think so. My homeland is a great one. Thank you for mentioning. But yes, I've got a small mixing board right now. This one's usually for like performances, but it does have recording capabilities. So that's what I'm using to record because I only bring people in like 1 or 2 at a time. So that's how I do the recordings. I use Logic Pro. I'm enjoying that interface. It's new for me and I'm learning. I visit YouTube a lot and listen to the engineers talk about the whole, setup and everything and kind of try to learn from others. That's how I got started recording myself, actually. I had to at Berkeley. I pulled my first all-nighter the first semester, and that was because I had no recording skills at least on a computer. At that time, they had like more analog surfaces to work with, and Nashville, yes, I am from Nashville. I spent many years there, and then I went to college at Berkeley College of Music in Boston. Just answering your questions, DJ. Thank you. But hey, Chet, good to hear from you. I don't have to ramble so much if I have people on that can ask me some questions. We're in the studio today. I got to meet Chet when I was performing on stage in Virginia, in Marion, Virginia, in a beautiful, very dreamy theater. If you've ever watched Song of the Mountains, I was on that show. So I've had some people tell me that that's how they found me, was they watched Song of the Mountains and started following. So that's really, really cool. Chet, we are just doing a live stream today to see what this is like. I really didn't know that they had this level of, like they had a live stream and I would do it with my computer, but it wasn't all that good. And I could do it with my phone, but it wasn't as productive as it is now. There's like, all of a sudden you'll have 24 people watching. It's really cool. Thank you very much. It was really great meeting you. Chet has followed me for a long time, and he is a man who appreciates music, so I love getting to meet people who kind of understand where I'm coming from. So we had Whittler Dave on earlier, and we had Dennis Walter. Dave is from Gatlinburg, and I like to tell you that he makes wonderful woodwork. If you see him in the feed, definitely ask him about it, because he has singing hands, and he made this for me. Hello, Greg. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thanks. I think I know this Greg, don't I, from Nashville? Wonderful. I am starting to realize that after 4 years on the road, I kind of let my relationships with people get kind of rusty, and I'm having to go back and go, wow, I haven't reconnected with this person in a long time. So, especially since I am recording new music, I am trying to reach out to people that I've loved working with before. Oh, okay, a Greg I don't know. Hi, nice to see you, and thank you very much for appreciating my videos. Citrus Heights, California, where would that be in the state? Are you north, south, or mid-California? We are starting to speak about tours for 2026, so it's getting very exciting. I have a new album in the works. We started recording in July at the very end. Thank you, Muna. Thank you. Northern California. Well, we were just talking about that. We are very interested in your redwood trees and just getting to see the land. You know, you see it on TV often enough, and it's not the same. So we would like to come experience California. So I am recording an album. It's called Hard Travelin' Girl, based on the years that my mother and I spent on the road touring. I'll tell you a little bit about our travels. April 1st, 2019, we went on the road. And basically, we had spent the last 4-ish years in Nashville, in East Nashville, which is like the songwriter side of town. There's songwriters everywhere, but this had become like, it was kind of rough, but all of them were kind of coming because the housing was a little bit cheaper at the time. And thank you very much. We'll have to connect. Definitely send me an email, and then I can know a little bit more about your area, and I will try to find a venue in the area if possible. So I had done that 4 years in Nashville and then 4 years on the road, and I'm trying to figure out where I left off here. I had recorded an album in 2018, and I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. I recorded the music, wrote the music, arranged the music, recorded the music, and Mom and I were at the time working in a Kroger grocery store. We weren't stocking, we were doing a job that was, it's like merchandising. If you ever go into a grocery store and you see that the item has changed locations, that was the job we were doing. Sometimes you had facings, a couple of facings that would go down to one, and we were the ones who were changing all of that. And we did that to fund the album, so we were very diligent in that project. But when we were finished, we quit the job, and we didn't know what to do with the album. We had it, now what to do with it, how do you promote? And I've learned a lot since then and gotten a little more keen on the subject of promoting albums, so I know a little bit more about it. But I put a band together, and we started to try to play out. But in Nashville, people play in multiple bands, and it's hard to keep anything together. So if you have a band that really sticks together very well, adheres, then you know, it's a very rare and beautiful thing. So we did that for a little while, and then I was kind of like, how do I bring this music to other people? And Mom and I ultimately decided early 2019, maybe late 2018, that we were going to go on the road. We were renting a house at that time, so it was easy to leave, and we put all of our belongings in storage, except for everything that could fit in our RAV4 Toyota, and it was filled to the gills. And we had a dog at the time, a tour dog, Chihuahua, named Riley, and he traveled with us. We actually had a cat at the time too, but that's a story for another time. And we went down to North Georgia and spent time with our family, and I kind of got on my feet. I had one gig that was going to be about 28 days long. I think that's it. I think it's more than that. I think it was like 42 days long. And I knew that I had that, but I needed to kind of fill in the blanks for about 3 months. And so I started doing like TV shows and any small festivals I could in the North Georgia area. And I went down to visit more family in Athens, Georgia. And then eventually it was time to go to Gatlinburg. And I really learned a lot of performance skills from being out on the street, busking. Basically, we were paid by the city, but you know, street performing, and just having to sing for strangers all the time that were like, you know, right in front of you. And so we did those things, and then it was like, well, what do we do now after the gig ends? After 42 days of being a street performer, what do you do next? So we kept coming. I was telling you, I'm living in Chattanooga now, but that was our first time coming and staying any time in the mountains. We had a very quiet period where I was working on a new album, right kind of during the time that I was in Gatlinburg 2019. And that album is called Fare Thee Well, a Joan Baez Tribute. You can find that on my YouTube. I'm sure Dennis wonders why I'm chattering. This is my first time doing this kind of a live stream, so I'm kind of trying to keep the flow of words coming and see who joins up. We had 24 people at one time on here, so that was really, really cool. Thank you very much, Dennis, for the nice compliment. Dennis is a great fan in Maryland and great friend as well. And but yeah, so we spent some time in the mountains, and I was learning music for a new tribute album to Joan Baez. And eventually I was able to record that. It was crowdfunded and really an excellent project for me to undertake. Who's on, by the way? We've got 3 people that are sticking around really well. 4 people now. Thank you for getting on board this live stream. I've been sharing a little bit about our travels of the last 4 years. So after being in the hills of Chattanooga, we ended up spending our first winter in Florida, which we love very much. Anybody in Florida out there? We stayed mostly in the southeast. I was able to also go up to Indiana. That was my first time in sort of the Midwest. And I was playing a show with Carolyn Hester, a wonderful folk singer who was from the 60s. And she had a Columbia record deal before a lot of the folkies had one. If you have any interest in folk music, go look up Carolyn Hester. She's wonderful. But we stayed mostly in the Southeast that first year, and then we became a little more adventurous in subsequent years. I'm telling everybody that I've got a new album underway, and I expect it'll release in 2026. We have a perspective month, but we haven't finalized anything just yet. We are just taking everything step at a time. I'm bringing a French horn player into my studio on Sunday, and if you know about the French horn, it is very angelic sounding. He will be playing on one of the songs on the album, and it will be the only song on the album that has French horn, but it is going to be very exciting. Thank you, Chet. Thank you very much. It's difficult. I have a little bit of a harder time doing videos, I think. I'm always afraid of that, finalizing things, and you can go back and edit your ums and uhs out, I guess, but I am like an machine, so it's because I'm an introvert mostly, I think. Most of my thoughts are internal, and now I have to speak out loud, so thanks, Chet. I appreciate that. Who else is on? We got 5 people on here right now, and people are a little quiet. Dennis says, Nina is fabulous in concert, and I love that. I am actually going to be playing a couple of small gigs coming up. One of them's pretty, it'll be larger, it's a lot of people. I'm playing one that is in town in Chattanooga. It is at the White Duck Taco on, hang on just a second, September 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, I think, and I hope you will definitely put that on your calendar. And then the other one is October 11th, and Dennis, I know, is going to be down here during that time, so he's going to attend that festival. It is the Pumpkin Town Festival, and I will be singing on the courthouse steps in downtown Athens, Tennessee. Wow, you can see me on an iPad and the TV. Very cool. Talking so much makes me thirsty. So let me tell you a little bit more about being in the studio here. This is my hard traveling book. This is where I have been putting any, like, I don't know, papers where I was sketching ideas for songs. I have them in here, and then like kind of a title list. Nothing is finalized yet, except for that we are going to have 13 songs on the Hard Travelin' Girl album. I have tried to be a lot more organized this time. I am not very good at organizing things. I like to do it, and I think I'm good, but I always kind of get squirrely and end up, you know, creating messes. So, but this keyboard here is a MIDI keyboard, and I'm able to record what's in my head in a way that, you know, it gets the idea out, but you really want to have real instruments as much as possible. I'm a very organic artist myself, and I really like to hear the real thing. Speaking of, if you've not heard my song The Real Thing, you should definitely look that one up on my channel. And 4 people on here. Anyone want to leave a comment and ask me a question? Thank you. You know what? We're talking about vinyl, Chet. We're talking about having vinyl records for people to purchase of Hard Travelin' Girl. I am finding that it's more of a challenge, though. For as many minutes as you get on a regular LP, I'm kind of going, wow. I see why songs are usually 3 minutes and 30 seconds or less, because, you know, it's not that much time on both sides of the records. So yes, definitely we'll have albums available. We're gonna do CDs as well, and but it's kind of hard to figure out what to do in these 2020s, trying to figure out how to make the music accessible for people. Well, I have just thrifted a record player, and I have brought out my vinyl and I'm starting to listen again. I really appreciate the audiophiles out there who love good music, and that's part of the reason why I have these. Mom and I picked up some cubicle panels last year when I was trying to buffer the sound in this room. We started looking around Marketplace trying to find ways of buffering the room, and we came across cubicle panels. And I think we got them for like $50, maybe 75 for 7 panels, and it helped tremendously. We brought in a rug and tried to make sure that we were kind of keeping things quiet, but audiophiles, I respect you because they're always trying to get the best sound, and they revel in the sound quality, and definitely respect that. Who's out there? I see 3 people now. It's gone down a little bit, but y'all are hanging with me. Let's see, top fans. Ah, very cool. Let's see, I'm guessing Chet, Dennis, and maybe Greg, I don't know. Who's still on with me? 6 people now. Leave a comment and ask me a question so that I can keep this ramble going on, going strong. And if you haven't yet, definitely subscribe to my channel. I post ever so often. I don't like bombard you with content, but I like to make sure that every once in a while I'm dropping a new song. And a lot of times it's folk songs. That's kind of how this channel got started. I was just wanting an outlet for just posting a folk song here or there. And the first one that really took off was Barbara Allen. So maybe some of you found me through that song. It's up to 71,000, over 71,000 views, and I have enjoyed so much reading the comments on this song. So who's with me right now? 5 people. This is my first time doing a live stream this way, so I'm just kind of checking it out, seeing how it works. It is a beautiful one. I remember when I was attending Berkeley in Boston, they had like a music archive in the school, they had a library, the Stan Getz Library, and they had a folk music section, and I got a hold of this one book about Alan Lomax, and I came across a story of a lady that he recorded. I don't remember where she was, but she had a version of Barbara Allen, and she was saying that she didn't really like it. I think she was a woman of faith, and the thing that she didn't like was that someone would love someone so intensely, almost idolize them to the point that if he didn't get her, then he died. But it's one of those strange phenomenons in these songs. I think why I like folk songs a lot, especially the English ones and Scottish, is because it's like listening to princess songs, and they're just so beautiful. And oftentimes it's just like stories of faithfulness and longing and loss, and it's just, I don't know, the songs just touch me. I think the first one that really drew my attention was Mary Hamilton, if you're familiar. Greg, are you familiar with that song? Hey, Lara. It's good to see your name come up. I hope y'all are doing really well. I miss Gatlinburg. It's a mountain town like Chattanooga, but it's not like Chattanooga. It is a lot of people in a small space, and it's just very fun. It's a city in the mountains. Let's see, 1967. Yeah, very cool. That song, Greg, Mary Hamilton was on Joan Baez, her 1960 album, the self-titled one. And I remember I was just listening to songs in my room. I was about 16, and for some reason I hit a point in that song that just, what happened? You know, it grabbed me, and it was sad, but it was still like compelling and beautiful. I actually recorded it for the tribute album I did in 2020. You can find that. I have CDs for sale on my website, and I like signing those CDs too, so definitely check out ninariccimusic.com. But also, I have it where you can listen to Fare Thee Well, a Joan Baez tribute on my YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe. Let's see, I'm gonna read this. Hello, Donald. Oh, wow. Oh, very cool. Yes, I remember, Donald. You and my mom have twin pinkies. Aha! Oh, that's so good. It's really nice to see you. I definitely remember. We don't live very far from that senior center. I'm gonna have to have a collection. I'll have to just take pictures of everybody who has the broken pinky. So my mom's injury was a volleyball incident when she was a teenager. What was yours again, Donald? Great to see you too. You know what, the funny thing is about having a YouTube channel, you don't know who is watching you, and they could be watching you for years and you never speak to them. And then all of a sudden, they'll pop up and they'll be like, hey, I've been watching you. And that's pretty neat. I loved it too. When I used to sing on the streets in Gatlinburg, there'd be people who'd watch me on the Smoky Mountain Tunes and Tales live stream. And then they'd plan a vacation and they'd come down and I'd get to meet them on the street, and that was really cool. Awesome. You know what, Greg? We are thinking about doing a thumb drive. I would like to know how popular they are and how many people like buying those thumb drives, but I've noticed that, you know, some people are pretty interested in it. They have made it so difficult for all of us to figure out how to access music, and like in the car, and taking the CD players away. We still have a CD player in ours. And I remember the old cassette players because my dad had a Honda Accord, and he had this, well, I can't say it was special exactly, but like it had a short in it. So he'd be listening to the radio or something, and he liked Oldies 96.3 a whole lot. So I listened to Oldies growing up. And all of a sudden the speaker would go out and he'd have to tap under the player, and all of a sudden it would come back in. But it was just one of those kind of queer little things that happen in your cars that you remember, kind of funny little instances. Yes, very good. Yeah, you know what? I've never played an 8-track. They were gone by the time I came along, so I loved cassettes though. They were kind of like the worst sound quality if you're looking over time. Cassettes kind of have the worst sound, but there's something about them, you know. They're so tangible and they're small, and I enjoy them though. I still have a cassette player. It's sitting on my shelf over there. Okay. You know what? How I decided to do this today was I follow the Petersons. Anybody out there follow the Petersons? The bluegrass family? And they were doing one of these live streams, and I happened to roll past their video, and I started seeing, wow, you can see people all around the world on this live stream thing. I don't know, it was like a Rolodex of live streams. And I thought, wow, that's a really neat way of doing things. Maybe I should do that more often. So you'll probably see me on here more often now that I've discovered this. I'll try to do some like little concert kind of things too. They're a lot of fun, aren't they? The Petersons. They do a lot of popular covers and tour around a lot. So very cool. And they have a theater in Branson. If you've ever been to Branson, Missouri, I played there at Silver Dollar City in 2022. I had a stage that I was playing 15-minute shows, and it was a lot of fun. It was just about to be spring, so like nothing was hardly blooming until the end of the 2 weeks that I was there. But so I didn't get the whole gist of what Branson is in all its glory. I'd like to return there. I know they've got beautiful Table Rock Lake and all of that, but it was already starting to have a little bit of a home-like feel. So I definitely want to go back and try to do, I don't know, maybe a show there at some point. Definitely check out Branson if you're looking for vacation spots. It's wholesome entertainment there, and there's a lot that you can see. Different acts from all the way back to the 60s, I think. There's a lot of different kinds of entertainment. There's magicians and jugglers, and they bring a lot into the Silver Dollar City Park as well. If you like Dollywood, you'll probably like Silver Dollar because Dollywood used to be Silver Dollar City. The Herschend family owns both of them. So very cool. Anyone else have a question? The Arizona Wildflowers, the Cotton Pickin' Kids, and the Alaskan Sunnyside Singers. Oh, okay. I also like the Wildwoods, if you have heard of them. They are a trio that sings folk-style music. Hey, Ed. I have another California fan on, Ed Schilling from Bellflower. Thanks for joining us. This is my first time doing this kind of a live stream. I've done only like a couple of live streams in the past, but they're doing them differently now. More people are joining and that kind of thing. So I'm interested in doing more of these. And Ed, we were just talking of you, and I hope you are doing very well. My mother, yes, she's doing very well. I don't know if you were on here earlier, but we have moved in the last couple of years. We got off the road and we moved to Chattanooga. We are in the foothills. You know that actually, Donald. But we have largely been kind of quiet and just living a peaceful existence while I've been also getting a lot of things together for 2026. I'm very excited to share about that. We've got a new album coming out. I should tell you too, I have a Patreon channel that shows behind the scenes of all of the projects I'm working on, and we're hoping to grow that and kind of make it like a funding platform for the album. It's not going to be totally specific to that one, but Patreon is a great platform that helps artists like me be able to make an income on a monthly basis, because that is the thing for artists, is just trying to make ends meet every month. And if they don't have to worry about like rent and food and it's taken care of, they can always be working on their art. And that's what I have been trying to do. So I'm on Patreon under Nina Ricci Music, and sharing, that's the project I'm working on right now, mainly is the Hard Travelin' Girl album. We are bringing a French horn player into the studio on Sunday, and I am looking for a flautist, a flute player as well. And we are super easy and convenient. Yes, it is. I am enjoying this format. It is kind of like one-sided though. I have to just kind of keep it rolling. So it does help if, let's see, you should send out a notification. I did actually, but I will do one further in advance and kind of try to get people going chat. I will figure that out so I can do more effective live streams. But if anyone has questions, drop them below. Or if you are just watching and we have never spoken before, chime in and let me know where you're listening from. Ed, you have a little crown beside your name and it says #1. I think that's like you're a #1 fan on the YouTube. Yes, he is. Ed Schilling is he was like my foundational fan. One day I found out in 2015 I had just graduated from Berkeley. Hello, Trayton. Trayton from Texas. You know, we are actually considering coming to Texas on tour. So that is exciting. We were just talking, I have a new booking agent, and that is a big development for us. That has been a struggle for a long time. I mean, I've always booked myself and it works, but you know, sometimes you need to delegate, and there is a new booking agency here in Chattanooga, Gig City Music Group, and we were just having coffee yesterday talking about tours for 2026, so we might come to your town. Who knows? Okay, so, but I was speaking of Ed Schilling, and he was my foundational fan. In 2015, I had just started my Facebook page, and I was very slowly kind of figuring out the social media and recording a song here or there to put out and doing like bluegrass and stuff, you know. There's a lot of bluegrass in North Georgia. We had moved to moved there just after college. We lived in Rocky Face, if you've ever heard of Rocky Face, or Dalton, very close to Dalton. And I was kind of just trying to figure out how to get started after college, and there was a comment from Ed Schilling, and I don't know how he found me, but very good relationship there. He's been such a good friend to me and fan. Let's see. I know IBMA is, I knew about that really early on, but I am not going to be at IBMA this time. I am more of a folk singer as it is. Maybe I could find, you know, find my way into the bluegrass. I know a lot of people find players in bluegrass, but no, I'm not going to be there this year. Let's see. Yes, and the IBMA will be here for 4 years. So they take up residence. For folk singers, it's like Folk Alliance International. That's our kind of banner and our infrastructure for folk music, kind of. Who else is out there? Leave a comment or let me know where you're listening from. This is my first day doing this live stream thing, so let me tell you too, if you don't know yet, I have a new song up on YouTube. I actually have a couple of them. They're new old songs because they're old folk songs, but one of them is Black is the Color, and the other one, the one that I've just put out, is called The Game of Cards. I had heard that song about 1.5 years ago or so, and I just fell in love with it. And I thought, I'm going to record this song. I've just got to make the time and learn all those verses. I got to where I listened to it so much that, you know, by osmosis, you sort of learn all of the lyrics. So I eventually got to sit down and do that. That is true, Chad. Some bluegrass groups do go to Folk Alliance. Yep. Very true. Even in the 60s, bluegrass was kind of considered folk music, especially up in New York, where it was like kind of nobody probably knew what it was. Let's see. We got 7 people on. Who's out there? I am coming at you from the foothills of Signal Mountain, Chattanooga, Tennessee. You know what's really cool about this town? It is it's known for its Civil War battles, and every once in a while I will see a placard in a strange place or a monument There's one south of here, actually in Georgia, but at one time, I think I'm not sure how it all worked, but some of this Tennessee area belonged to Georgia. And yes, y'all probably have some monuments even as far as Texas. But yeah, you'll find them in people's yards. I saw that one day. We just kind of happened into a neighborhood and there was a monument right there. Very cool. I was looking at a couple of placards yesterday on the bridge going into Chattanooga. We live on the North Shore, and I haven't read them yet, but I'm kind of excited to see what they are, and very interesting. In some ways, Chattanooga reminds me of Boston. I lived there for 4 years, and it is a town of bridges as well. The Charles River runs through it, and so they have to have all those bridges. I have a secondary channel that you may not know about, but it's my songwriters channel. And I posted a song recently. It's called Boston's Such a Beautiful Town. I had an overflow of nostalgia from the days when I was living up in Boston. And I just wrote this it's a long song, but it captures kind of all of the feelings that I have and had about Boston. And yeah, so definitely, if you have the time, check that one out. Boston's Such a Beautiful Town. It is indeed. And Chattanooga is beautiful as well. So if you haven't been here, everybody kind of wants to go to Gatlinburg or Nashville or Memphis, but Chattanooga is here. It is beautiful, and they're making it a really nice tourist location. They have very fun events too. I just saw one it's like an Olympic event, and people jump off the bridge, and there's kind of like they've built some kind of a climbing wall under the bridge, I think. And they just have all these little spots that they've kind of thought about for the tourists coming in, or makeshifted, because it's very historic. And back like right after college, when we moved down to North Georgia, I'd come up here for gigs. And at that time, it was not known as Gig City. There wasn't 5G. We had Windstream, and it was really slow internet. It wasn't dial-up, but it was slow. 20 years is, you know what? You will like Chattanooga better now probably than 20 years ago, Trayton, because it has a life of its own now. There's a lot of people moving here, and there's a lot of art. Yeah, so they're coming right along. And the music, there's music here. There's not like the infrastructure that Nashville has for music, but it's more like creatives kind of doing their own thing. Whereas Nashville kind of has its purpose. It's a publishing town. Chattanooga, I think, is trying to develop a scene of artists. And yeah, so I'm one of the artists you can come see here. I'm going to be playing at a couple places coming up. I mentioned this earlier. I'm playing at the White Duck Taco on the 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. And then I'm going to be playing, I don't remember the times for this, but I'm going to be playing at the Pumpkin Town Festival in Athens, Tennessee, which isn't too far from here, past Cleveland. And I'll be playing on the courthouse steps. There'll be bands and some single solo acts and stuff as well. So very cool. Yeah, Chattanooga. See, my connection with Chattanooga is mostly that it has been a pass-through. It is the kind of city that it's kind of like a sunshine. If you're living in the city, there are all these different roads that go to all the different music towns. So it's very accessible and easy to get to the next location. But for me, I lived in Donaldson, and my mother's family was in North Georgia, and we were always coming through Chattanooga whenever, mostly for holidays and things. And so we'd drive over Mont Eagle on the way down and look at those like floodgates that would pour water off the mountainside, and sometimes the water would freeze on the mountain. And if you've listened to my song, by the time I get to Georgia, you'll kind of get the imagery even more. But we have Rock City and Ruby Falls, and let's see, we've got the Hunter's Museum of Art. I haven't gone there yet. I also have on my list of things to do here the Bessie Smith Cultural Center. When I was in college, I covered Bessie Smith. I was in the Acoustic Blues Ensemble at Berkeley, and it was my favorite ensemble. It was really good. And so I started learning about Bessie Smith, and now I live in her town. She used to busk with her brother back in like the 1930s, I think. On I think it was, I don't want to say the wrong street, but it was downtown. Greg, question, think you might do a live stream music performance on YouTube in the future? Yes, I will be happy to do that. Today I'm just trying it out, seeing who jumps on, and kind of meeting some people too. Yes, I will, Greg. This is a great format I'm finding. I'd be happy to do that. Are there any songs you'd like to hear? Are there any favorites that you have of the songs I've already posted? And Trayton, if you are still on, let me know how you found my page, and also, you know, what songs you like. Trying to get acquainted with people. This is fascinating. Let's see. Yes, Bessie Smith was born here. But funny enough, her grave is in Pennsylvania. Bird on a String. Oh, you found me through Facebook. Wow, that's cool. I'm glad you made the leap over here. It's sometimes hard. A lot of folks kind of don't, you know, migrate between the platforms, and they like one better than others. And I kind of like to find out where my audience is, and yeah. Are you an artist too, Trayton? I haven't been able to visit your profile yet, but let's see. Anything right now? Very cool. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate that, Greg. Very nice. I've been enjoying YouTube for quite a while. I think the first video I ever posted on YouTube was, I was playing up at the Signal Mountain Opry before we lived here. We lived in Rocky Face at the time, and they still have the Opry. And I was playing with a whole bunch of bluegrass folks, and I think I was playing "Bury Me Beneath the Willow." That was the first bluegrass song I learned, and so yeah, I sing that one whenever I'm in those gatherings. Learning to play guitar. Hey, you know what I find or found with playing guitar is, and as I speak to other people, don't get scared of the instrument. Just enjoy the sound and let your ears be your guide. Also learn the notes. If you can get a guitar book. I mean, I don't know how far along you are, Trayton, in your journey, but finding out whether you are also a fingerstyle guitarist or a flat picker is also helpful. When I started on electric guitar, and I was kind of adamant that I'm going to be like Brian May of Queen and be an electric guitarist. And my dad was a fingerstyle guitarist, so when I picked up the acoustic, that was the first thing I did, was I picked up my dad's guitar and thought, man, nothing could sound bad on this. And I took to it like a duck in water. I don't think that electric guitar would have been it wouldn't have suited me that well, and I had his finger style tendencies. So that's what I've been ever since. And in college, I studied under Paul Rochelle. I don't know if he's out there, but he and his wife Annie Raines are great blues musicians in Boston. And they Paul taught me what I needed to know to kind of get my picking under control. And but like at that time I was almost totally self-taught, and I was just like arpeggiating everything, and he taught me blues style, and that gave me some some foundation. And you know, it's kind of, some of it's like ragtimey, and so that's kind of my background in guitar. Donald, where's the best place to get your CDs? My website is the best place. FYI, I did not receive any information. You know, I don't know yet, Donald, about the notifications. I tried to share this out, and it cut off a live stream, and I don't know what happened. And it had a notification option, but I'm gonna have to research that, find out how I can do it better. But to answer your question, the best place to find my CDs is on my website, ninariccimusic.com, and you can go over to the shop on the website. Else, if for any reason that's not the best way for you, just send me an email and we'll make it happen through PayPal or whatever is best. So. Chet Rose, Paul and Annie recorded for Flying Fish Records. I have their recordings. Wow. I remember at Berkeley, I had 2 occasions to play at the Berkeley Performance Center. One was playing Sickle and the Cane, which is my song, for the Women Musicians Network concert. I played it with an all-female rock band. And then the other one was with my acoustic blues ensemble, and I was playing Bessie Smith's song, Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. And Paul and Annie were playing as well. They were singing, I don't know how many songs, they might have got more songs than our ensemble did, but I remember My Bucket's Got a Hole in It. Okay, and Trayton, great advice, yes. Foggy Mountain Breakdown or Rocky Top. Very good. I sang Rocky Top a whole lot in Gatlinburg, and I did 3 seasons at Dollywood as well. So I had occasion to play Rocky Top a whole lot. It's funny when you live in Nashville, it's so disconnected from East Tennessee. Like, Nashville is definitely more cityfied. It's city-billy, and you don't really have mountains. It can be kind of pretty and stuff, but it's not very rural. I think that the land that we lived on, Donna Hill, yeah, we might have hills. It's kind of hilly, but when you get out to East Tennessee, you kind of see what you're missing being that far inside of Tennessee. You start to see those beautiful mountains, and then you go into North Carolina and they're even taller and more majestic. Yeah. So Rocky Top, I actually have played at the Gatlinburg Inn on that porch for Smoky Mountain Tunes and Tales, and that's where Rocky Top was written. So Felice and Boudeleaux Bryant wrote that one. And yeah, very, very cool. It's a good song. Thanks, Donald. I'm glad that you came on YouTube as well. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these, and I will try to do some like little live stream concerts on here, because now I know what I'm looking at, and I'll try to get those notifications out. Whoops, almost dropped this. And make sure that everybody knows when it's going to happen. And today is just a test run. So we got 8 people on here, and I don't know if anybody has gotten off or not, but if you have joined us and haven't chimed in yet, let me know where you're watching from, and if you're subscribed as well. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. A lot of folk music and original music on here, and you're gonna see more original music coming up. I can't say too much, except for that I've got a new album coming out, so that will definitely be some of the original music I'll be posting. Yep, Rocky Top. Chet says Rocky Top is one of the state songs of Tennessee. Tennessee Waltz is another. Yes. Okay, so let me tell you this about being a kid raised in Nashville. I attended Donaldson Christian Academy when I was 8, 9 years old, 3rd and 4th grade. And they wanted to kind of like make us a little more cultured. So at one point, they were starting to teach us to waltz, which you teach a bunch of 8 and 9-year-old kids how to waltz, and they have to, dance with a boy. It's like, it's hilarious. But they took us to the Magnolia Ballroom inside of Opryland, and we had a formal dinner, and we all had dates, and they had to learn etiquette. And so everybody was very well behaved. And I think that maybe there was a shortage of guys. So there might have been like two girls to one guy. And my mother knows a lot about etiquette because she was in food service. And she let my date know that when a lady stands up, that the gentleman is supposed to stand up too and take her chair for her. And they taught everyone how to kind of, seat the ladies before you took your seat. And I found it very fun because me and another girl were across from each other, and I said, let's start standing up and sitting down. So he had to, stand up and sit down when we did it. Just had a bit of fun. So when will the new album be released? Well, I'm not sure I can say too much. It'll be early 2026. Relatively early. All right, Donald, it is okay. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care of your pinky. If you didn't hear me earlier, I will be playing downtown on the 25th. I will be at White Duck Taco, and that is I think it's kind of a newer place, but it's a big room and should be a lot of people as well. Greg, have you ever played a 21-chord auto harp before? I have. The only drawback is I need to be filled. Well, you know what? I think that the auto harp is the most elegant instrument besides the full-size angelic harp for a lady to play. I've seen men play them as well, but I don't know, there's just something so lovely about watching like the Carters play. I have not ever played an auto harp. I don't know if I'd be good at it either. Like you said, I think you were talking about like pressing down the buttons and things. I feel like it would be a little bit like accordion maybe, pressing the buttons, getting the different tones and stuff. I don't know. If I ever acquired one, maybe I would give it a go and start really liking it. But I've never played an auto harp. Oh. It's kind of a big loss for us in this area. Red Bank had a store called the Folk Music Store. And very knowledgeable fella, he managed it, and it's no longer there. It just closed. Steve was the guy at Folk Music, and we go visit him, and I loved it when he would pick up the phone because he would answer it folk music, and I thought, man, I would love to be, you know, in a position to be able to be the authority on folk music and answer the phone that way. But they had, like, I think they probably had auto harps. They had all kinds of instruments, and some of those instruments have ended up over at Mountain Music, and that is kind of near Hickson. I think it's still considered Red Bank. But if you're looking for some of those instruments that Steve carried, they are now at Mountain Music. They do have auto harps there too. I'm sure that is one that it would be nice to have instruction, Greg. I'm not really sure how it's all set up, but I can imagine it would be nice to have a teacher for a while at least. 36 strings. How about hammer dulcimer? Have you tried hammer dulcimer before? Or, yeah, it's a beautiful instrument. Let's see, we got 5 people on. Is there anyone who is new to the channel or just joined and is wondering what they're doing here? Oh, Greg, so the problem with the dulcimer is that you cannot change keys. I would have to think about that from a music theory standpoint. And I don't know the, you know, string names and how much you would get out of it. I have not spent any time with auto harp, so I wouldn't be an authority at all. I experimented a little bit with instruments. I had a mandolin and a banjo, and but I gravitated to guitar, and I was kind of like, since this is my instrument, I know because I started on piano, and I felt like if an instrument becomes something that you're like, you're tired of, you don't really want to play it, and you don't feel like there's any chance of mastering it or anything, or there's some kind of resistance between you and the instrument, then maybe you just haven't found your instrument yet. And when I picked up the guitar, I knew, acoustic guitar, I knew. So, who is with us now? Anybody new that would like to ask a question? I'm going to wrap up the live stream pretty soon. It's getting a little bit late, and we will probably be having our dinner soon. Okay, I'm gonna try and figure out what you're saying, Greg. If you play something in the key of C, Right, yes. I've got you there. You know, funny thing was, like, every once in a while I'll pick up a harmonica and use it on a recording or something like that, and I will, you have to kind of figure out, or considering whether, you know, if you're using an Irish whistle or something, which key should I buy, especially if it's, you know, one that they don't have an exact, the exact key that you're looking for. Sometimes you have to kind of figure that out. Gets confusing. Chet, yes, 2026 is when we are releasing, and it will be early because we are starting to make plans to do shows again. And if you are watching and you're hoping that I come to play in your area, let me know where that is so I can start to kind of plot a route. And as mentioned before, I have a booking agent now, and so he is very interested in getting me booked in some nice places. So we're hoping to return to some of the places that we visited while we were on our long journey over the last 4 years, and we've had, you know, kind of a lot of convalescing after being on the road for that long. We lived on the road. So we had, we took about a year to just do nothing, basically. And then the second year, we were still kind of coming out of that fog of being on the road. And then, hey, Bo! And then we started to kind of turn around. It's hard because when you're on the road, you drive at night some of the time, and you don't have regular sleeping hours, and you know, you have to kind of get your timetables changed back around for normal living. Bo Bridges, good to see you here. I'm glad you got on. I met Bo down in Lafayette, Georgia. They have the Lafayette Farmers Market and a mighty fine stage over there, and that's where we met. He was playing for a rock band that was after me, and he helped me with sound as well. I loved that. Really appreciate it. Fred, hello from New Hampshire. Harmonica. I love that. Oh, you know what? I feel like there is going to be a return of the auto harp where, like, I've seen a couple of guys recently playing auto harp, and it must just be, you know, as people, this, like, I think we're in a folk revival right now. My friend Michael Gabriel up in New Jersey has a book about the folk revival, and that New Jersey was kind of like one of the, they have the New Jersey Folk Festival, and it's the oldest in the nation. So he's a historical writer, and he talks on all topics New Jersey. He gives lectures as well, but he's an author. And he was saying, I think when we look back on this era, we're going to say that might have been another folk revival. And so I think people are finding their ways to some of the old folk instruments that kind of get overlooked. So very interesting, Fred. Oh, thank you very much, too, for loving my music. So you're in New Hampshire. I have been to New Hampshire. When I was in Boston, we pretty much did, like, we didn't have to vacation. We staycationed because we didn't know the city, and we might as well just, like, walk around the city, and that was kind of our vacation time. But we did have some, we never even, like, made it to Cape Cod. Like, the traffic was always backed up so much that it wasn't worth it. I was in school, you know, 5 days a week, and I didn't make it there, but we did make it out to New Hampshire. Have you ever heard of Cardigan Mountain Orchard? I'm just asking Fred. Cardigan Mountain Orchard is a family-owned orchard, and they have built up since the time we were there, but they have apple cider donuts, and you can pick your own apples. It's just beautiful. The land up there is it's, you know, it's kind of a little bit like Tennessee, but there are differences, of course. I'm sure there's trees and things that don't grow down here that can grow up there, but it is very lovely. One time we were in New Hampshire, and we were on a hike with some folks from one of the churches in Dartmouth, and they were hikers. We were not. I didn't even have the right boots for going hiking. So we got up one level of the mountain, and we said, no, we're going back. We're gonna just go chill at the lodge and have some hot chocolate. But they went up the mountain, and afterwards they were really ragged. They were saying it got steeper and steeper, and that we were fortunate for not going up there. But maybe next time we're in New Hampshire, we'll be a little more adventurous. Thank you, Bo. I really appreciate that. This is my first live stream of this kind anyway on YouTube. Okay. Fred, I am sure it is big. It's a big state, pretty big state anyway. And this one, Cardigan Mountain was like one of the places that was kind of closer to where we were coming from. Sometimes we'd have to take a bus out of Boston to get there, or I forget all the ways we went to the different areas outside of Boston, but we were city dwellers. So let's see. Oh, you know, and I'd like to visit Maine too. There's a lot of places I still want to visit, and even though we lived up in Massachusetts, I've not visited some of the places like Maine. And the reason, this is a silly reason perhaps, but there is a film called, and book also, Sarah Plain and Tall, with I think it's Glenn Close. And I really enjoyed that film, and when she talks about Maine and how wonderful it is, and then when they go and visit Maine, it just made me want to go visit. So we've got some people on here. If you wouldn't mind dropping a comment, letting me know who's out there and how you found my channel. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe. I've got music on this channel, a lot of folk music and some original music. There's going to be much more original music in future. It's been fun talking to y'all. I'm going to do this a whole lot more often. I've also noticed too, I think that everybody's kind of like improving their platforms right now. The competition is probably pretty steep. And Patreon is getting a whole lot better. Ed Schilling and I were talking on this stream earlier. He was talking to me on it. There you are. There is a live stream function on Patreon as well. I think it would be a little awkward. I've got a few people in there. I have not promoted it a whole lot, but that, if you want a way of really supporting what I do as an artist, Patreon's the best way of doing it. And I am able to share like behind the scenes stuff that's going on that normal, users on the other platforms don't get to see. And so I've got a Patreon. It's Nina Ricci Music, if you'd like to visit that. And it's kind of one of those platforms where when you're funding the artist, we have options, and you don't have to fund at a certain level. It is on a monthly basis, so even if it's like $3 a month, it is very helpful, let me tell you. And it helps an artist to be able to continue their work without having to seek other kinds of employment that take them away from, what their main thing is that they do. And if people appreciate the art, then it's kind of like I'm feeding into you and you're feeding into me, and we're able to kind of symbiotically work together on the art that we all love. Thank you, Ed. He's saying that it is easy to set up and the extras are really cool. Best way to help. It is. I've thought of doing like a GoFundMe for this upcoming album, but I didn't think it was the best way to go this time. It was great for my Fare Thee Well Joan Baez tribute, because I was enlisting people that were her fans, fans of my music, and then every once in a while there was just a philanthropist out there that would find my page and support what I was doing, and it was very helpful. I was able to fully fund that project, and I want to have a way where people who are actually invested in my music are able to like connect with it in a different way and be a part of the artistry, like being, a patron, basically. Patreon is set up on the premise of basically like when Mozart and Beethoven and all of those greats, a lot of them had patrons, and some of them lived with the families, and those people would, house them and clothe them and help them, like feed them and bring them to the table. They lived with these musicians, and they were just trying to relieve their other worries so that they could full-time work on their compositions. And in that way, that they were patrons of the art and being a part of the success of the music and the artist. So I appreciate you saying something about that, Ed. We're hoping to grow on Patreon. At first, I was pretty nervous about doing it, I'll have to be honest. When I first got on, first started hearing about Patreon, I thought, I don't know, is there anybody out there who really appreciates my music? And would there be enough people, enough appreciation to make it a worthwhile venture to, we were on the road the whole time, so I was kind of thinking, how am I gonna keep up with this? And then I got off the road and that was worse because I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to keep enough entertainment value and everything coming. I'm mostly an introvert, so but Patreon has been good, and I've been able to share some of my journey as well, and there's lots more ahead of us, so I think it's a good time to join me on Patreon. I don't have a link on here, but you can definitely find me on there. If you just type in Patreon and then search Nina Ricci Music, you'll come to my profile. We're going to be revamping that page pretty soon to make it into a proper crowdfunding platform. I do need help with that. I am working on an album that will be released in 2026. We have laid the groundwork. I've recorded drums and bass for all of the songs. It's very exciting. We're recording French horn this week. I have recorded, this was really special. These days, we're so modern. If somebody's in another country and they have a studio space to record in, they can send you tracks and you can add them to your project. And I was able to get one of my Berkeley friends to record a Celtic fiddle part for my song Old Emerald Shore, and it was brilliant, just wonderful. So musicians, they are worth what does the scripture say? It says, a workman's worth his wages. So we always have to pay our musicians and want to whenever I'm bringing them into the studio to record. So definitely check out Patreon. Who is still on? I see there are 8 people on here now. Definitely drop a comment and let me know where you are coming from and if you have any questions. And I have a question for you. If you're just getting on board here, if you will, leave me a comment and let me know how you found my profile, how you found my channel on YouTube. I've been talking too long now and I'm getting a little loopy, I think. But this has been fun. It's my first time doing a live stream this way. And I have seen some familiar faces on here. We've had Dennis and Chet and Whittler Dave from Gatlinburg. And I've met Greg and Donald, who I sang at an assisted living center here in Chattanooga a couple years back, and we met him. And we had Trayton from Texas. So it has been a nice time here. And Bo Bridges. I've enjoyed that. And thanks for joining too, Fred, if you're still out there. It's been lovely talking with y'all. All right, there's 8 people here. We're just staring at each other now. Okay, so I might plan to do this again maybe next week. Actually, I probably could bring you in on Sunday when we have the French horn player. That would be very exciting. Let's see, Ed, oh. I don't know if you can bring people on screen, but that would be a very cool thing to do. If I can figure that out, maybe we'll bring you on screen one day. Ed, and have a good talk. Ed is very knowledgeable about many things, and he is a good friend and fan. I hear the pitter-patter of my mother's feet. We are still live streaming, Mom.
Well, have fun in here. You probably need that, don't you?
Yes, I've already emptied my glass.
I'm not coming.
Okay. She's not joining us today, but she may join us in future, right?
Yes. The French horn is coming at 2.
French horn is coming at 2 on Sunday. Wonderful. Well, I may need to wrap things up unless anybody has questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you, and this is just such a good way to be able to get in touch with people who, like, my channel has grown. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers. And, you know, the only reason I started really feeding into YouTube is because at some point I looked and I was like, wow, there are people subscribing to my channel and I don't have much out here. And during 2020, I posted a few different folk songs. We were still full-time on the road, and we had stopped only for me to be able to add some more dates so that we could continue on. But of course, you know, when COVID came, we got off and we kind of got stuck in one spot. So I was able to record a few different folk songs and posted those and started to realize, hey, people like this. So maybe I'll just post another folk song. And as I went on, it seemed like people appreciated what I was doing. So I just did more of it. I've mostly just done songs, but I might start to do a video or two here that might be helpful to some people. I will be posting a video probably pretty soon about royalties, which I think might be a needful subject. Musicians like myself, we have to, you know, think about income streams and how to provide for oneself, and finding out where we should be making money. It's a funny thing, because when you're in art, you don't think about money often, to be honest, except for needing enough to be able to meet your expenses. But basically, well, we'll discuss that in a YouTube video probably. But musicians they're supposed to be making money for their live performances, but there are a lot of musicians who don't know that. And there are simple, easy ways of making sure that happens. And one of them is through PROs, performance rights organizations, who are collecting, they're already collecting the money, and it's there for you. And as long as you are entering your set list when you're performing out, and provided the venues pay their dues to these performance rights organizations, you're able to make a small amount off of just live performances of your original music and public domain repertoire as well. So it's I figure it'll be a good video to put out for musicians who need to know that. Anyway, so y'all are still sticking around with me. Who is out there? Any final words? Because I'm about to head out of the studio. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. We've been on here 93 minutes. If you aren't following me on any other platforms, I am on Instagram and Facebook, excuse me. Those are like the best places to find me. I'm also utilizing YouTube's community section. They have posts now. So occasionally you'll see a post from me on YouTube, but it's still like people don't really know about that too much, but I think sometimes they get notifications. So I try to interact that way as well. But Facebook, I have a fans group. It's called True Fans, Nina Ricci True Fans Official group, and it's a good little place that I occasionally post in. And then, of course, there's Patreon. Hello, Ice Age. I am not from the UK. I am from America. Yeah, I am actually from the South. It's a funny thing. I'll go one more round here. I am the product of a Yankee and a Southern Belle. And it was an interesting household to be in because my dad was Italian from Rhode Island, Italian and Irish, and then my mom was a Southern lady, and I kind of grew up, I'd say it was almost multicultural, really. I had a strong Southern accent as a kid, and then I think when I reached kindergarten and I started learning to read at Pennington Elementary School, I kind of, it kind of got more, it was less twangy and stuff. So, also, like, the foods that we ate in the house were, they were like Southern and Italian. And I'm a vegetarian, so that was a different thing too. We'd go south and they were eating coleslaw and pecan pie. My family and all, it was kind of an interesting thing to go and visit family in different places. I do live music. Yes, I do. I play in the city I live in, and I'm also a touring musician. For the last 4 years, I lived on the road. My mother and I traveled for music full time. Hello. So, Danimal, what is your name? I've seen you come up a lot, and I just want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. I do know your profile, but I'm answering Ice Age about live music. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, definitely do that, because I've got a lot of music on this page, and you might like it. It's folk music and original music. So, okay. Nice to see you, Daniel. I appreciate you chiming in. Ed's probably hearing stuff he hasn't heard from me before about my upbringing that was multicultural, from my dad being a Yankee and my mother being a Southern lady. Southern Belle. Yes, I do still have a Southern accent. The longer I'm down this way, it seems like the stronger it is sometimes. I think I lived in Boston 4 years, so that kind of faded, I guess. But one day, it's like when I'm tired, it comes in more. And one of my teachers, she heard me one day and she goes, "Whoa, there's that accent." She was not from the South, though. Though I don't think I got the Middle Tennessee Southern. You can tell there's like this hybrid Middle Tennessee accent, and you know it when you hear it. It almost has kind of like the old flavor of antebellum Southern. There's like a country accent, and then there's kind of I don't know how to explain exactly without being kind of weird and I'd have to be talking vocalist terminology about and think it through about where the sound is being developed, but it does have a different sound. It is not twangy, but it's like sweet and syrupy. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember who you are, Daniel. I really appreciate you chiming in. You discovered me from the Pro Pics. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being a fan, too. So, are you using Pro Pics now? I started using them in college. I was gifted my first set of Pro Pics from Paul Rochelle. Oh, good. You know what? It's one of those things, if you are a fingerstyle player and you come across them, they are really an asset. I use them all the time, so they're steel picks, but they are not like banjo picks. I've used those too, but for like a short time, but they're a little harder to control the clankiness of them. The Pro picks are open. I've got some here actually, like this. And your finger, you can kind of feel a little bit more of what's going on with your fingers, and you're not like sweating as much as well. And they're really good. But I was taking private lessons at the time. Berkeley was starting to offer private lessons with teachers who were not on staff, but they were trying to make a way for them to like a new positions that they were going to introduce into the school. I was my minor is in American roots music, so I was taking some classes at the time that were basically folk music and roots music classes, and they started offering these private lessons, and I took lessons with Paul Rochelle for finger picking blues guitar kind of stuff, and he set me on the right road to correct picking, and he was just very kind about it, because I'm like, sometimes I'll be really fast at learning, sometimes I'm slow, but there's certain, like, you know, certain times, especially in the syncopated picking style, that I remember my brain would just time out, and I'd be sitting there in silence, and he'd be like, "You're going to get it. And when you get home, you're going to play this, and it's going to all connect." And he was totally right, but I went in there and I was bare fingers. I just had a thumb pick that my dad kind of passed down to me. I'd never bought another thumb pick, and Livingston Taylor is the reason why I started wearing a thumb pick. He was my performance techniques teacher. He's James Taylor's brother, Livingston, and he held his thumb up in class one day and said, "You need to get one of these. It'll make your bass lines clear." And he was right, so I started using it. At the time, my bass lines were not clear, and Paul helped me to manage all of that, and he gave me my first set of Pro Picks. That's right, you can feel the strings, and it is nice. Now that you're just fine, Daniel. I appreciate you coming on the live stream. This has been an experiment. This is my first day doing a live stream like this, and I will in future make it a musical one. But I'm also like trying to get people involved, knowing that I'm going to be releasing a new album as well. So there'll be no shortage of announcements about that. So thank you. There's 10 people here sticking around. If anybody else has joined and would like to ask a question or say something, I would appreciate you dropping a comment. Okay, shoot. I'm waiting on you, Daniel. Would you say you were more influenced by country music or pop music, or both? I guess I'd probably say both. Growing up, I was introduced to music through, let's see, well, probably partly church, and then what my parents listened to, basically. I was saying John, Paul, George, Ringo from like age 4. I remember being in a Baskin-Robbins with my dad, and he was saying, "These are the Beatles, John, Paul, George, Ringo," and he was so proud when I could say them back to him. And so that's kind of what I started with. I remember my first cassette that my dad made for me had Beach Boys' Sloop John B on it, and I loved that song. And you know, it's kind of almost folky, so that may be like foundational reasons why I like folk music. I grew up in Nashville, but like my exposure to country music was really from, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, my dad was a Yankee from Rhode Island, And he liked country music, but he also liked Bob Dylan and Tom Waits and just various things. He had various interests. But living in Music City, it was a funny thing. I didn't really go to shows or anything. I listened to the radio, and that's really how I was exposed to music. Mix 92.9, Oldies 96.3 until it, I don't know what happened, but it was no longer around. 103.3 WKDF, country music stations, and so I was listening to country music on the radio, and I'd say I was probably 12 when I started listening to country. And Mix 92.9 was a lot of like current pop tunes, 80s pop, some country, and easy listening basically. And so I got exposed to a lot of a blend of music through that, but a lot of oldies. Simon and Garfunkel, you know, things like that. And then I'd say when I became a teenager and I picked up the guitar, I was experimenting. I was listening to like Beatles, Rolling Stones, and just trying to figure out, I don't know what I was trying to figure out. I was just trying to listen to like a swath of music, and then I think I started to gravitate towards folk music. My mother had said that I should check out Bruce Springsteen, and I started listening to all his albums, and I came across one called The Seeger Sessions, We Shall Overcome, and that was my first big exposure to like Americana music. I would say that term may not fit it exactly, but it was like an amalgamation of American folk styles, like New Orleans, jazz and blues and folk. I don't know how you say that exactly, but some bluegrassy type music, and totally kind of opened my ears. Then Bob Dylan was becoming repopularized at the time, and so I started listening to him, and I came across a soundtrack for a movie, and Joan Baez was singing Blowin' in the Wind, and I started to love folk music at that point. Fred, you've seen Livingston Taylor in concert twice. I'm sure you had a fabulous time too. He is a showman. He rules the stage, and he makes you a part of his concerts. Wow. I bet it was very cool. There is a new folk music museum. It was started pre-COVID, but it didn't really get up and running till like maybe the last 2 or 3 years. It's in Boston. It's called the Folk Americana Roots Music Museum and Archive. It's a long title, but it is in Copley Square at the Botch Center. It is worth going to see, I know, because my friend Tony Gillespie got to go to one of their events, their inductions. They're bringing a lot of the folk musicians and others too, folk Americana roots, there, and putting their like some of their memorabilia and instruments inside the archive. So I'm hoping to get to visit there at some point. And that's relatively near you, Fred. You should check that out. Folk Americana Roots Music Archive and Museum or something like that. But you'll find it online. They just did a documentary with NPR about that. So, and Tony's in it. If you're on Facebook and you're a folk music fan, you should find him. It's another long name. It's called the Village Folk Music History and Memorabilia. That's a great group to go in if you enjoy folk music history and learning about songs. So, well, it is 6 o'clock here. So I should probably wrap this up pretty soon. Any final comments, questions, or curiosities? I see we've got 9 people on here. If you're new, I am a musician and I sing folk songs and original music, and you've come to the right place if you're looking for that. Subscribe to the channel and make sure that you check out the music. Thanks for joining me. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, Ed. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Fred. And anybody else who may still be on. Final comments, anybody? I'm going to do another one of these quite soon. Thanks for joining me. Y'all have a wonderful night, and be sure to stay in touch. Check out NinaRicciMusic.com and subscribe also. As you come in the door to my website, there is a subscription place. Just put your email in and you'll join the newsletter. I will have lots of information coming up about the new album, Hard Travelin' Girl, and I will also be planning a tour. So let me know where you're located in an email or whatever. You may find any way to respond to me that you can, and I will consider that as I'm making decisions about where to perform in the new year. Okay, good night to you all. Bye.